Mr. DJ Rose, Verteezy, and C's. Welcome you to the No More Black Tears podcast.
Black tears that's heaven sent. Barack the first black president. I love my black skin. I love walking in black excellence. Black power, let's represent. All black, that's evident. I'm sure MLK and Malcolm X both didn't die for the hell of it. Strap a seatbelt, go and settle land. What makes you think that we would sell our land? We wouldn't sell out now. What makes you think that we would go ahead and try to sell out then? No more black tears, black on black kids. Love us as is, love with passion. Paying black bills, learning black skills, making black meals. Black is backing. Big shout out to Fred Hampton. I'm black and proud like I'm James Brown, but I ain't doing no acting. My people here from the motherland. This podcast now active.
No More Black Tears podcast. We back in the building. Me and Verteezy, man. It all happened in a week.
So this week in sports, we're going to talk about, there's a lot of NFL players that are available, Rose, in free agency. Now, free agency has already passed, but we have a lot of different names. And I'm going to name, some of the players available, just so you can have an idea of how deep this free agency class is in terms of the old people. For the receiver class, we got Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill. For edge rushers, we got Joey Bosa, Von Miller, Jadeveon Clowney. For offensive tackles, we got Taylor Decker, Cam Robinson. The only linebacker of note we got is Bobby Wagner. Only running back of note we got is Nick Chubb. And for the DBs, we got Rashawn Douglas and Trevon Diggs. What's the 2-3 old heads that you feel like could go somewhere and benefit a team?
Von Miller, Joey Bosa, Stephon Diggs, and if Tyreek Hill can come back and be 75% of what he was.
Are there any particular teams? Because I have teams for certain players.
I ain't got teams. I ain't got no teams for like the defensive players, but like for like offensive players, Tyreek Hill, Baltimore, they could use that even if he's just a decoy. That would help them out. Baltimore could use Joey Bosa. They can do that CC connection.
I actually got a different pass rusher for Baltimore.
You know what I'm saying? And
the pass rusher I got for Baltimore is Jadeveon Clowney. Because I think the last 2 years he's bounced around from team to team, and he's been a solid edge rusher in his role. Like when he's been asked just to go after the quarterback. Now when
he played there before, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's played there 2 years ago actually, yeah. and he had a double. Just I want to say he had 10 plus sacks.
That was one of his best years.
Yeah, so I think him going back to Baltimore would be good. And two other teams I got for Clowney would be the Lions, being opposite of Adrian Hutchinson, because they need another pass rusher, and I feel like he could help them out in pass rush situation. And then obviously the Chiefs, because they have Chris Jones and they just have Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator. He's always good at moving pieces around, so I think he'll be able to use Clowney. The other two players I have, and I'm be honest, with this player I'm about to name, maybe it's because I just have a personal affinity for him, and I know he's coming off of an injury from 2 years ago, and at times he looked okay last year. I feel like Nick Chubb can go somewhere and give you quality carries. Not be the main back, but come somewhere and give you quality carries. And Detroit comes to mind. He's similar to David Montgomery. You can get him on a discount, and I don't know if you want Gibbs to be getting 100% of those carries, and I don't know who's the backup in Detroit right now. So I think Chubb is a solid, especially the way they use Montgomery, if you remember, Rose. They use him in those goal line situations. Even last year with the Texans, Chubb was still good in those goal line situations. And I just got to think 2 years removed from the injury, he could probably give Detroit some good carries. Washington, their running back situation is cloudy. They got Jason McCaffrey, Merritt, but he was a rookie last year. So maybe Chubb as a veteran would do some good for him. And then also the 49ers, because of the way that Kyle Shanahan does that offense, he can utilize Chubb in different ways, and you can also play him at the same time with Christian McCaffrey. And then the last play, I went receiver, but instead of going Hill, I went Diggs, only because I I just don't know how Hill gonna look coming from that injury, and Diggs did give you just 1,000 yards on a Super Bowl.
Diggs is a better wide receiver.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't think he would sign for Baltimore because he wants some paper.
No, he do want paper. If he's willing to play at a respectable number, the three teams I could see him going to. Baltimore is one because he can still be a possession receiver, and they need someone like him. Washington will be another place because they just need to solidify that receiver core. They tried with Deebo Samuel last year, and Deebo that shit failed. And I think he can go there. Jaden Daniels has come off the injury. He would need a security blanket, someone that can eat the middle of the field. Plus, Washington still hasn't really found a tight end yet to do that. And I feel like at the slot, Diggs could do that. And in the last place, and this would be more so another young quarterback, a very talented receiving core. If you watched them last year, Rose, but they're just young. The Panthers, like him going to Carolina with Bryce Young, maybe help Bryce Young take another step forward. And Jalen Coker, along with Taylor McMillan, I want to say Horn, right? The dude from Colorado, he's there too.
Yeah.
Like they got a very young receiver core that's talented. They're just not all completely proven, except for McMillan. I think Diggs could come there, but it only works in Carolina if he's willing to be more of a mentor. Like he'll get snaps and he'll play, but he has to be willing to bring them young guys along and teach them how to be veteran receivers.
I think the place for Diggs is Tampa Bay. If we go do the South, you know what I'm saying? Because Baker, because they lost Evans, even though they still got Ibuka, and they still got can't think of his name right now.
Jalen McMillan, the rookie receiver they had last year to go with Ibuka, and Chris Godwin.
Godwin, yeah. But yeah.
I thought about them too. Mm-hmm. I just didn't know how much they like McMillan.
Yeah. I don't.
And Godwin, is he? Do you think he's back from that injury? Like, did you see enough from Godwin last year to make you feel confident in him?
That's why I think that it would be a good place somewhere to go to, because McMillan, he all right, but you know what I'm saying. Ibuka, the truth.
Ibuka, the truth. He showed out as a rookie. Like, I expect him to get better.
Diggs would be either the best receiver or the second best receiver on that team.
Yeah, probably so. And you with a veteran quarterback in Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure against zone coverages, he might be the favorite receiver because he would know where to sit down in those zones. And you just lost Mike Evans. So now Tampa is an amazing place. And I guess another reason why I didn't say Tampa just because I just didn't want to see the Bucs get better.
I don't either. But shoot, I'm looking at we need the sub.
Yeah, we do need the sub.
But we gonna be just good enough, not the sub. But we need the sub. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so we're gonna move from the NFC South to our continuous of divisional breakdown. We did the AFC North last week. This might be the most competitive division we do all offseason, Rose. The NFC fucking North. Like, all these teams can probably make the playoffs this year. The Lions was the worst team last year, and I think they had, 9 wins? And they was the worst team in the division last year. What key offseason moves by each team do you think is going to be effective and you like the most? We got the Lions, Packers, Bears, and Vikings.
The Vikings picking up Kyler Murray. That's going to be. I think that's the best move, I think that's the biggest move. I don't know who the Bears picked up, if they picked up anybody. Packers lost some receivers. They paid Watson. Lions lost Montgomery, but now Gibbs is going to get 75% of the carries.
For some reason, doesn't that feel like a addition by subtraction move?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't it feel like losing Montgomery might push that offense to the next level because they're going to be forced to give Gibbs the ball more?
And that's the thing about it. So since they're getting the ball more, since he's getting the ball more, if he's going to be on the field more, it's going to have to be better. You know what I'm saying? Because people still got the game plan for him more. So.
And before we move off Gibbs real quick, before we go to the other teams, he's like right now the number 1, number 2 running back in fantasy. If you had the number 1 overall pick, just for the people that's listening, would you take him over B. John?
No, because Kevin's going to give him the ball.
Okay.
Kevin's going to give him the ball. He's going to give him the ball.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, I wouldn't take him over B. John.
It's close. Either way, you'd be happy, but
yeah, because I remember last year, I said that he was going to be probably the top running back, fantasy running back, but he actually wasn't. But he was.
He was close.
But
he was close. B. John, an amazing year.
Mm-hmm.
So what else you got now?
It's going to be waiting to see who's going to win the job. I'm interested in see what you gonna say because we talked about Atlanta all the time off the pod about Penis and Tua. This Vikings in the same situation.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what you gonna say about them. But the Bears, can they come back and still play like they played last year? They got a couple of lucky wins last year. They won a division. And the Packers, is Jordan Love gonna be good or not? Because everybody thinks he's a great
quarterback.
Yeah, but he didn't make the top 10. Caleb took his spot. So is he gonna come back and improve? Like, cause he plays great sometimes, and then sometimes he plays.
He has yet to give you a full season of greatness.
Yeah, so it's like.
But the moments where he's high, the moments that he look amazing, he looks top tier, and then it's just moments he looks so mediocre.
But they don't have any wide receivers. Stephon Diggs could go there and that'd have helped him out. He played in Buffalo, so that cold weather shouldn't have bothered him. He played in Patriots, New England last year. That cold weather don't bother him.
Yeah, they don't have a real number 1. They got a group of good guys. I'll start off with Green Bay. Like, I think the biggest offseason move they made was getting Zaire Franklin, who I think is one of the better linebackers in the league, to solidify that defense, because I feel like that offense is already set. It's just a matter of, can Jordan Love stay healthy? And another move they made, and it's really just more so a continuance of a move, if it makes sense. When they gave that extension to Christian Watson, they showed the league with that signing, with that extension, he's our number 1 receiver. So now it's going to come down to, when you saying that they don't have a number 1 receiver, they think Watson's the number 1, so you got to show it. Which, to be fair, the second half of the season when he was healthy, which is always the issue with that nigga, he looked amazing. Can he give you a full 17 games of health? And can Matthew Golden, the rookie from last year from Texas, who everyone thought was going to emerge last season, can he come this second season and have a good season? That's going to be the big question. Then with the Lions, they drafted that left tackle out of Clemson, Blake Miller, to replace Taylor Decker. And then we talked about trading Montgomery. Like, is that going to open the offense up by trading Montgomery and giving Gibbs the ball more? But also, the second half of the season, Jared Goff got a lot of pressure. Like, when you spend a first round pick on a left tackle, you expect them to start and play well. So, like, if Blake Miller from Clemson can play well, that'll be an upgrade for them, hopefully. With the Vikings, the two biggest moves is Kyler Murray going there. Like, that's probably going to be the best quarterback JJ's had since Kirk, to be honest. And in terms of off-script plays, that's going to be the best quarterback he's had. They signed Juwan Jennings, which was a sneaky signing, because Juwan Jennings was the number 1 receiver last year for the 49ers. So now he's going to Minnesota to be the number 2, and you still got Jordan Addison, who was the number 2, and he was a good number 2 in my opinion. So now he's probably going to be the number 3. So now that receiving core has really gotten bolstered. And are we going to see JJ take that number 1 spot back at receiver? Because there's a lot of people that got Jamar Chase number 1. They done moved JSN over here. Some people are saying Puka's better. I still think for everything that JJ's had to deal with from the quarterback play and the inconsistency in Minnesota, the instability in that organization, he's still my best receiver in the league because he keeps getting 1,000-yard seasons regardless of what's going on there. I think we might see the best season from JJ because you give him a Juwan Jennings, who he's going to take coverage away. You still got Jordan Addison, who's probably going to be in the slot, or Jennings might be in the slot. Then you have Kyler Murray there. and you still have Aaron Jones, who you brought back. Like I feel like that offense should be a lot better than it has been. But I will say this to what you said, it's going to be Tupac. All eyes going to be on Kyler Murray. Because if you can't make it work in Minnesota and you sign this 1-year deal, you not getting paid next year, my nigga. Get off Call of Duty, get on the step ladder and try to throw the ball to JJ because you now have what I consider the best receiver in the league and what most people consider a top 5 receiver in the league. There ain't going to be no excuse for you, buddy. Also, Minnesota always has like a top 10 defense with Brian Flores, so the defense ain't going to be horrible. To be honest, the expectation for Minnesota is you got to make the playoffs. Kyler, you got to make the playoffs. And then when you make the playoffs, you got to play well. But I just think favorite in the division, I'm going to finish with them, Rose, Chicago, the Bears. They signed Kobe Bryant, the safety from Los Angeles, really good player. Their secondary wasn't the best last year. That's going to help them out. But the real big move, to be honest, is year 2 of Ben Johnson. Because we saw what happened the second half of the season, Rose, when Ben Johnson and Caleb started clicking. Now we have a full off season of Ben Johnson and Caleb working together in year 2. And what they did, and what do they most of the time they say? Year 2 is when we really see the quarterback and the offensive guru really just connect. Kind of like with Pat Mahomes when he threw 5,000 yards. His second season he did that. That was the year 2 he was with Andy Reid, even though he wasn't the starter the first year. So I'm just really excited to see, is Caleb going to take that next step? Because I think what Caleb did last year, he did the hard part last year, which was he made incredible plays and incredible moments. It's just, man, Caleb, we know you can throw a 50-yard pass falling backwards and get a touchdown. You did it in the playoffs against the Rams. We know you can do that. On 3rd and 2, can you check the ball down to the running back and get the first down? That's really my question from Caleb. Can you make the simple plays when the team needs you to make the simple plays? And can you not throw boneheaded interceptions for your team? Because I feel like the Chicago is set up for success. They got everything they need. They got Rome. They got Luther Burden. They got Loveland, the tight end. Swift at running back. They got Kyle McGraw, the second running back, who actually was starting to steal carries from Swift last year. The defense is probably going to be better. You got everything you need, Caleb. And I'm going to ask you this question, but I'm going to answer it first. I think Caleb is probably the best quarterback in the division. Who would you put your money on as the best quarterback in the division? And to me, this is a great quarterback division.
Give me Jared Goff still. I still got Jared Goff as being the best quarterback.
Yeah, he's definitely probably the most consistent guy. I ain't gonna lie. I just don't know if he gives you the highs of some of the other guys, but yeah, ain't nothing wrong with Goff, man. Who you taking for the division? As it stands right now, who would you pick to win that division?
Lions windows is closing. That window is closing, so I'm taking them because if they don't win it this year, it might be a wrap for them.
It probably will, man, because Green Bay's young, Chicago's young. It's going to be hard because Detroit got an older team, so it's going to be hard, especially with Jared Goff's age, for them to continue to to play very well. I'm just going to stick with Chicago, man. I feel really good about Chicago, and I really feel like they're going to come this season and really be some game busters.
Has Madden came out yet?
No, it comes out, I want to say, in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
You still taking Chicago?
Yeah, I'm still gonna take Chicago, even though that boy on the Madden cover with his fingernails painted, he played well enough last season where it's like, nigga, paint your fingernails, bro. He played well enough for I don't care no more. We're gonna do the over and unders, man. And when I told you how this is probably the best division, the over and unders for this division, do they have some of the highs as the other divisions, like 12.5 wins, 11.5? Nah, but the floor is ridiculous. No team is expected to get less than 9 wins, bro. We're going to start off with the team that's expected to get the least amount of wins. The Vikings, 8.5.
Over.
The Bears, 9.5.
Over.
Lions, 10.5.
Over.
Woo, bro. So you got one team getting 9 wins, one team getting 10, and one team getting 11.
Yeah.
Packers, 10.5.
Under.
Where do you think they fall? You think they
10.
fall just oh man, so you think every team gonna get at least 9 wins?
Yeah.
I told you, man, this division up that competitive, man. We're gonna go to the players. This division, if you love fantasy, is filled with a lot of fantasy studs. I really could have went deeper with the players, but I didn't want to have too many. We're gonna start in Chicago. Caleb Williams, 3,574.5 yards.
Under.
24.5 touchdowns.
Over.
Roma Duze, 799.5 yards.
If you don't get it here, bust. Over.
6.5 TDs.
Under.
Kyler Murray, 2,925.5 yards.
As a starter for the whole season?
I would think he's going to win the job, but they probably think he might not.
Okay, over.
17.5 touchdowns.
Over.
Justin Jefferson, 1,149.5 yards.
Over.
7.5 touchdowns.
Over.
The Packers, Jordan Love, 3,524.5 yards.
Over.
24.5 TDs.
Over.
Christian Watson, 774.5 yards.
Under.
6.5 TDs. Under.
Under.
Josh Jacobs, 899.5.
Over.
6.5 TDs.
Over.
It's safe to say you're going to take Josh Jacobs in fantasy probably.
If he falls.
If he falls to you. Ain't no reaching over here.
Ain't no reaching, but yeah. He's always been the man.
Yeah, he is. He always been the man since he was in Alabama with Nick Saban and them boys.
He didn't even play at Alabama, but he was still the man.
Hey, we're going to go Jared Goff, 4,049.5 yards.
Over.
29.5 TDs.
Over.
Damn.
I see they projected him the best quarterback in the league in the division too. Yeah,
now they do got him as the best quarterback in the division statistically. Amon St. Brown, 1,200.
Over.
12. God damn.
Over. Touchdown. Over. And what he got up with touchdown?
9.5.
Oh, that's a high number. I know it's gonna be that high.
You hearing all these low numbers? You think
over?
Oh, you still over?
Over.
Jameson Williams, 899.5 yards.
Over. He gonna break out this year.
5.5 TDs.
Over.
And Jamar Gibbs. Do you need to hear it, or are you gonna do it like St. Brown? You gonna hear it?
Over.
1,100.
Over.
And 99 yards.
Over.
For the touchdowns too?
Yeah. He got what, 12? He need 12?
Yeah, 12. He need really 13. He get 12.
Oh yeah, he'll get that.
He'll get that? Okay then. Hey, final
half of them gonna be passing touchdowns though.
Wait, no, these are rushing.
Oh, these are all rushing.
Yeah, these are rushing. His total touchdowns is 16.
Okay. Whew.
He gonna get the total?
He gonna have more receiving touchdowns than
rushing
touchdowns.
So you think he's gonna go under the rushing, but he's gonna hit the total?
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably will. He's a phenomenal player. Moving on to the last topic of the night, we was talking about all these NFL players, and some of the ones we had named had these huge contracts. I just spoke with Zaire Franklin. He was on the Joe Player podcast this week talking about $50 million is not generational. It's easy to blow that. People need to understand that y'all don't live the lifestyle we live, and it's easy to spend that kind of money. You had Carmelo Anthony a couple weeks ago with Odell Beckham saying how $100 million is not generational money, and that's money that we can't understand, and how easy it is to blow that. Rose, what's your thoughts on that? Like, do you feel like that is generational money and money that you probably should not blow?
I'm just gonna go like this, man. I thought the Jocks was getting smarter, but they
one is Kyle Kuzma said, "Fuck what y'all talking about."
Yeah, because I thought they was getting smarter. They making A's in school. They ain't got to go to school in college. They go to online class. I thought they got 4.0s. I thought they was getting smarter, but the rule of thumb still stands, man. Dumb jocks, man. You dumb jock. It's like we don't live the lifestyle you live. Nobody signed you up when you made the NFL to live that lifestyle. You signed yourself up to live that lifestyle.
And that's what I thought was so crazy, because I just feel like this conversation is a microcosm of no matter how much money you give some people, they're going to just stay broke.
Yeah.
Like, because some people they feel like the more money I get, the more I have to spend. So like, okay, cool, I make 50 million. The quarterback on the team has 500 million. So what? I got to fly private now. Like, I'm too good to just fly first class, you know?
Yes.
Or you see some of these celebrities say, if it ain't first class, like I've heard Vlad talk about, yeah, man, I've canceled flights that if it was a first class, I ain't get on the plane. Like, I mean, that's what we doing now. I just feel like at the end of the day, if you able to get multiple millions, like tens of millions, that should be money that you should be able to leave money for your kids. Like, you should be able to build money and wealth with that. Like, we should not be hearing you if you sign for 50 million at 25. By the time you 40, I shouldn't be looking at you on a live stream. No disrespect to nobody. No disrespect to no athlete that does that.
I'm talking about Malik Beasley.
No, the other nigga that be live streaming with the dude nigga Dean.
Oh, AB.
Yeah, but I should not be looking at you on a live stream and you talking about you broke.
They be getting it.
You know, when you made 50 million in your career, like that shouldn't be something, especially considering with these athletes. Like, most of the time, Rose, as both as being sports fans, most athletes make most of their money off the field or court anyway. So you sign a $50 million contract, you got another 50 million in endorsements and stuff like that, probably, because they get all kinds of endorsements, not just from the big ones like Nike and Gatorade and Powerade. They get endorsements. Like, remember when Cam had that yoga endorsement, and stuff like that? They get all these kind of endorsements. Like, I just feel like if you blow that kind of money, man, you fucking the wrong type of bitches, probably. You doing mad drugs, and you just trying to live a life that just don't make sense.
Yeah, like, you live in an impossible life because $50 million is generational. Yeah, like if you put that in the bank, because some athletes don't even spend that NFL money. Like Gronk didn't spend none of his NFL money, according to him. The Beast Mode didn't spend any of his.
Beast Mode. A lot. There's a lot of athletes from 10 years ago that tell you stories of, I didn't spend my NFL money. I just lived off my signing bonus or my endorsement money.
Doggone. Crowder wasn't a superstar, but he said he still got all his NFL. Well, not only what he said he got all of it, but he said he left out the interest of it.
Yeah.
And he said the interest of his NFL money was almost $200,000 a year. He said 180.
Man, because I remember when Jalen Hurts, this story happened a couple years ago after he signed his contract, if you remember. And he bought a home, and people was criticizing because it was in a mansion.
Yeah, I don't remember him, but I remember Devontae Smith when people was finding him.
He did the same thing too.
But
and I just feel like, nigga, you don't need a fucking mansion. Like, you don't need that. You're not Michael Jackson. You don't need Never Never Land, bro.
I don't think he has any. Either one of them have any kids. I know they're both married, right?
Yeah, I don't think either one have kids, but they both have modest homes. Like, they're really nice homes, but they're not the mansions that some of these other people have. And it's like, that's just a prime example of,
and I think that's
spending your money wisely.
And I think that's their NFL homes. I think both those homes are in the Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
So the homes, the price of it down here might be $300,000, but up there the house probably costs $1 million.
Yeah, probably so.
But it's basically a house around here that would cost like $300,000 or $500,000 or something like that.
Instead of you getting a $10-20 million home, they got just $1 million home, like you said, which is perfectly fine for them. They could just pay that shit off, whatever, because Jalen Hurts got $100 million, Smith got probably $50 million or whatever. Like, all of this stuff is relative to the simple fact of, we're not gonna feel sorry for you niggas.
And then talking about, the tax man got this, and like we don't pay taxes.
Exactly.
Like they don't eat our check.
Exactly.
And shout out to Lamar. He ain't got no agent, so he ain't got to pay that 4%. But
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, the 4% but that ain't much, but it adds up.
It do add up.
But still, you got 100 after tax man, Big T get his, and after the doggone the mob get theirs.
Yeah, the white man.
And so now you went from 100. Say you went to 50.
That's still a lot of money, man. That's still a lot of fucking money.
You went from 100 to 50. And it's probably more than that, but you went. Just say you went from 100 to 50, but your taxes is paid. Big T got his. You know what I'm saying? The mafia got theirs, and then the rest of it's all yours.
Yeah. The rest of it's all yours, and you just got to spend it wisely. Buy yourself a home. Like you said, try to live off the interest of it. Have a couple cars. Be modest with the cars you have. Don't be trying to have every brand new car to come out.
And I think about it now. Now that I'm thinking about it, is when we hear these $100 million contracts, you ain't getting all that at one time.
No,
you ain't even getting all of it at one time. So as long as you get so you ain't even got a chance to blow it all at one time.
But that be the problem is a lot of them be saying they be so used to seeing a check for 50,000, 120,000. Because Cam was talking about it. This was like a year ago. Like his weekly checks were so crazy that when you don't see them weekly checks, because you're not thinking of, oh yeah, man, let me save this money and let me make sure I take care of this. You just thinking them checks keep coming. Me and MJ had this conversation. It's like people
because they never had a job either.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's like people who work a whole bunch of overtime. Instead of calculating, bro, I'm not going to be working overtime for the whole year. I'm only working overtime for 2 months straight. I can't be living like my overtime checks are going to be my consistent checks. Like you get people who do that. Like they like, okay, well, I'm making an extra $300 on these checks right now, and they living like it instead of really thinking to themselves like, man, I probably shouldn't buy a car based off what I make when I get my overtime check. And that's a big mistake.
Niggas buy cars because they got a refund check. So they ain't worried about calculating no extra overtime versus a regular paycheck.
That's true too.
And lots of times, like when you like say you're going to get a house, they'll tell you, like, they'll look at your check stuff like, oh yeah, you make, like you say, the overtime. They'll look at your overtime and like, oh, well, we can't use that.
Yeah.
We can't use your overtime to but you still probably make enough, but we can't use your overtime.
Yeah.
So things like that, it's like, what are you thinking?
Man, what they're thinking, man, they like, man, I forgot what athlete said this, man, but one of them said it not so long ago. Man, some of them niggas be thinking them checks not gonna stop. That's what they be thinking.
Because they
really be thinking them checks not gonna stop. Which, and I'll say this, in the era of 2026, I just feel like with a lot of stuff, Rose, we shouldn't still be making the same mistakes. There's been too many documentaries on Netflix and Hulu about athletes going broke. They had them documentaries back when I was in high school about athletes going broke. And some of them was white athletes. Who was that white boy from Cleveland, Brandon Kosar? He was on that bitch. And I was like, oh shit, a white boy went broke? I said, that shit must be bad. Like there's too many, then when they get into the league, they have these seminars and stuff. So there's only so much education that you can get. Like they tell y'all what to do. They tell you this and that. So just for me as a regular nigga who works a government job, I'm not going to feel sorry for y'all niggas when y'all go broke. I'm not going to shed no tears for y'all niggas.
So that's why they were talking about it, because they want people to feel sorry for them, you think?
Man, I feel like some of that shit is, like, cause the way Zaire Funky was talking about it, like, y'all don't understand because y'all can't quantify a lifestyle y'all never lived, so y'all can't really talk about us because y'all never lived it. Sometimes they try to make it seem like
they grew up this way.
Right.
Sometimes they try to make it seem like when it happens, instead of going online making fun of them, which I'm not condoning that, they making it seem like we should be hitting their GoFundMe's up.
But no, like, I don't know if y'all ever seen, I mean, this might be far-fetched, but this is what I think about. Like the movie Titanic, Kathy Bates' character, she was of new money. A lot of the people that was on the boat, they was for old money. Now, she had more money in the bank because the old money people, they ain't got no money. They living off of, like, the ex-husband's, inheritance or some shit like that. Yeah. I think a lot of times what it be is that we don't know financial literacy enough, period. And then if you fool around and let somebody dump a whole bunch of money in your lap, you don't always have people that got enough common sense to say, okay, I'm going to just put this first check in the bank. I'm not going to spend it. How many of these athletes, like, currently, like Allen Iverson, prime example. Allen Iverson was broke for a couple of years. He making that money now, but that's because that endorsement, that deal he did with Adidas back in, or was it, ain't that Adidas? Reebok, excuse me. Back in the day, it's finally coming back full circle because of his age. But a lot of times, a lot of these people don't get the financial literacy that they need. And you're right. How much you want people to come out and tell you? What about you doing your due diligence to know how to steward your own damn money? Where's that becoming a commonality? No, they want the nicest cars. They want to pop bottles in whatever city they go in. And back in the day, it used to be, I just happy to go to Miami or Sunset Boulevard. Now these niggas be in Paris and everything else and can't afford a lifestyle. There's people that work hard jobs and save up their money and don't splurge to go to different places like that. So A lot of it is just poor financial mindset, period.
And that's sad because, like, when you bring up AI, for example, during that time period, they talked about it a little bit, but the awareness just wasn't like it is today.
Right.
Like Jaylen Brown, one of the most articulate athletes we got going, talked about the reason why he didn't sign an agent. The Players Association in the NBA basically can act as an agent for you and do all the stuff and manage your money and do all the stuff for free. He said the resources are there if players just tap into it. Like, you ain't even got to be educated most of the time. You just got to be willing
Ask
to
questions.
ask questions and do research.
And listen.
You just gotta listen.
Or hang around people that's already doing it. That's why I like to hear stories like, I don't think it was in my but it was somebody talking about how Carmelo had them sit at the table and was like, oh, you want to put on for the team, pay for everybody's bill.
Yeah.
And mind you, he came back and he paid for it, but it's like, nigga, you trying to live this lifestyle. I've been in the league this many years. I'm retired out of the league this many years. You trying to keep up with a lifestyle that you cannot afford, young buck, and I've been in the game a little bit longer than you and still ain't finna keep doing this for these niggas. This is a one-off. This ain't an every night. So if I teach you that lesson now, somebody got to teach you that lesson. But it's also the type of people you choose to be around. You know, we learn, if you want to be around these people and learn how they live, don't keep hanging around the same people. Go hang around the people that you don't know how they live, or you don't know how they acquire wealth, or let alone, like, when you hungry, you learn, you absorb like a sponge. When you get too comfortable, that's when you start just getting a little off track.
Nah, definitely for sure, man. My last thing is, I just feel like, to what you were saying and what you were saying, Rose, like, we got these podcasts now, man, with all these ex-athletes from Shannon Sharp, Ocho Cinco, you know, Matt Barnes and stuff like that. And you know, and they talk about, them going broke or teammates going broke, and then they have guests on that talk about it. Like, there's just too much awareness out there now for these athletes to be making the same mistakes. And yeah, you can make the excuses where, I signed $100 million to California, but by the time taxes came, I only got $50 million. That's still a lot of fucking money, dog. That's still a lot of fucking money. Like you got to understand, to the average person who's struggling to pay their bills, who's struggling to make sure they pay their bills and have a little bit left over, you complain about $50 million because you chose to live in a certain house. You chose to live in a certain neighborhood, a white gated community or whatever.
No, but somebody put a gun to their head and said they had to do this. This was not choices. They had to do this.
You chose to go to Dubai to get your dick sucked by some bitches over there.
Mind you, these niggas already know. They did that whole portal shit. Half these niggas don't even got a degree, let alone an education. So when you blow this, what in the hell is you gonna do after this shit is over? Will you expect to be bionic, man? You gonna be 30 forever? You gonna be 20 forever? You not.
Man, they gonna start podcasts.
I ain't nobody watching your podcast. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll tell you like my pastor told, don't go start the podcast. I ain't telling nobody not to do something, but he didn't make everybody ain't supposed to be business people. That's a bigger conversation. Some of y'all, you don't need to do it. You're not good at it. You think you're good at it. Just because you're able to do it does not mean you're able to sustain in it. Football was not made to be there forever. Basketball wasn't made there to be there forever. Hell, half of these R&B artists can't even get on stage and still sing the way they used to sing back in the day. What's your other stream of income? What else is you banking in?
Final thoughts, everyone?
Yeah, my final thoughts, man. Man, the ESPYs was, I think, Wednesday night. And shout out to the New York Knicks, man. Every reward, they swept. They did a clean sweep, just like they did through the Philadelphia, and just like they did some other teams. They swept them. You know what I'm saying? Clean sweep. They won the best team. Every award they was up for, they won pretty much. Best team, New York Knicks. Best athlete in male sports, Jalen Brunson. Best NBA player, Jalen Brunson. Best championship performance, Jalen Brunson. Best play, OG, Anunoby. Man, shout out to the New York Knicks. Knickerbockers.
My final thoughts, if you don't mind, since you close it out. Women's sports, especially WNBA, is looking very tantalizing. As a girl that grew up watching a lot of basketball, I'll be honest, I didn't grow up watching a lot of girls basketball. It wasn't the razzle and the dazzle that we're used to seeing, that we're promoted to see. I love what I'm seeing. I love these different teams. I don't have a favorite team, so I can pretty much talk about everybody kind of openly. I like everybody. I like what everybody is putting on the court. Do I have a favorite? Yeah, probably so. We'll wait till a little bit later in the season to have those conversations. Speaking of the FCs, shout out to Aja. Shout out to all of your awards. I mean, taking home 3. There was 2 or 3 in the same night. 2? I think it was 2 in the same night or 3 in the same night. Best women's athlete. What was the other one?
And best WNBA player.
And then shout out to her. Hey, I didn't grow up being able to see the legacy of Lisa Leslie. I was kind of already, a little kid, and by the time I kind of paid attention to basketball, Lisa was about to retire out of the game. But being able to see this in action, being able to notice a player and not just be a gimmick or hype, but just seeing her for her skill set. Thank you for setting the tone for women's basketball. If there was never a greater, you are great. I'm excited to see what WNBA is going to look like for the rest of the season.
We was talking about best quarterbacks in the NFC North, and last week we discussed the AFC North. Lamar Jackson has been one of the best quarterbacks in the league for the last 7 years. He's been part of the big 3, him, Josh Allen, and Pat Mahomes. This week, NFL executives, anonymously ranked him number 5th behind Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, and then Colin Cowherd got on his show and said that he's not even a top 10 quarterback right now and he's giving up on him. Then the players came out and ranked him 69th. I just, when I saw that, I was just astonished because you want to use injuries against Lamar, but then I look at last season, Lamar played 13 out of 17 games. Joe Burrow only played 8. So why are we using injuries for Lamar but not Joe? Okay, we using numbers. Okay, out of 13 games, he had 2,549 passing yards, 21 and 7 TDs, and out of the 3 quarterbacks per name, he still had a higher quarterback rating than Mr. Josh Allen, who had 3,600 yards, which he played the full season, so he just had 1,000 more, but he had 25 TDs. So he played an extra 4 games and only had 4 extra TDs than Lamar, with 3 more picks. I just don't understand why Lamar Jackson always gets the hate he gets when we're watching him do what he does in the NFL. The best receiver he's ever had is Zay Flowers, which I don't know if we did a list of top 10 receivers, would he being a consistent top 10 receiver, to be honest. But I can look at Joe Burrow, and he got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I can look at Josh Allen and be like, he had Stephon Diggs half his career. Now he got probably what's considered the best offensive line, and his numbers are just mediocre. And he just came off of a 4 turnover game in the playoffs, but it seemed like that didn't even count against him having 4 turnovers against the Broncos. At some point in time, we got to see these conversations for what they are, man, and realize that, not all these plays are being judged purely based off of stuff on the field. They're being judged even in 2026 by other stuff, and people are going to use injuries. People are going to use numbers to hide what they're really trying to say, and let's just call a spade a spade. You don't like the fact that a nappy-headed, dark-skinned brother is probably the best or second best quarterback in this league, and y'all been waiting for a down season like last year. Y'all gave Josh Allen his MVP 2 years ago. Y'all happy he had a down season. I just can't wait till Lamar takes the field this season and has a bounce back year, because I just want to know if he comes back and looks like MVP Lamar Jackson, are y'all going to bump him back to where he rightfully belongs? Shout out to the mama.
Gotta.
Mr. DJ Rose, Verkeezy, and C's, welcome you to the No More Black Tears podcast.
Black tears that's heaven sent. Barack the first black president. I love my black skin. I love walking in black excellence. Black power, let's represent. All black, that's evident. For sure, MLK and Malcolm X both didn't die for the hell of it. Strap your seatbelt, go and sell our land. What makes you think that we would sell our land? We wouldn't sell out now. What makes you think that we would go ahead and try to sell out then? No more black tears, black on black kids. Love us as is, love with passion. Paying black bills, learning black skills, making black meals. Black is backing. Big shout out to Fred Hampton. I'm black and proud like I'm James Brown, but I ain't doing no acting. My people here from the motherland. This podcast now active.